2024 career goals. How do you set them? What things should you consider when you are putting together your career goals, particularly in this year where there are a lot of layoffs, there is record inflation, but you shouldn't let that hold you back. And I'm here to help you make the most of your year. And you can follow the same steps to success that I used to work at Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, and HSBC. So I think the main thing when it comes to setting career goals for yourself in 2024 is to set modest performance goals. And the key is to over-deliver. And what we mean by that is you set a moderate performance goal that would impress your manager, but you would go ahead, you would go far beyond that by overachieving that particular goal. So if you set a goal that, let's just say, is set at 80% of your capability, you put in an extra 20%, and that is what will impress your manager and help you get that bonus that you're looking for. When it comes to other things you should look out for when you are setting your performance goals, is look for opportunities within the department you're in. For example, you need to consider department changes and restructuring. For example, if there are changes within your management, within your team, other projects with teams alongside the team you're working on in your department, you should look out for any good internal opportunities. That's always a good way to get your name out there beyond your team, within your department, and stand out to senior management. And then another thing I wanted to mention is you need to be able to plan for different scenarios. At the end of the day, the biggest pay rises you're going to get are not working at the company you're currently at. It's working at other firms. So when you make a move, you get a 20 to 30% pay rise, and that's what you should be focused on if you're not finding opportunities internally. So you should look for growing areas in your industry. For example, we're all aware of crypto. It looks like it's going to have a big year in 2024 with the Bitcoin ETFs and lots of other meme coins or other coins that could do well, Solana, things like that. So I would say in 2024, if you're looking to grow your career and make a move, look for any opportunities within your company, for any teams working on crypto, virtual assets, digital assets. So that's a good area to focus on. Another thing would be emerging markets and BRIC countries, which are Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, other growing developing markets, Latin America, Eastern Europe. These are all good opportunities for you to focus on in your career, because a lot of these other economies, they're growing quite rapidly. They're looking at developing their own finance industry, growing their industries in general, their economy in general. And you could find a lot of opportunities there if you do come from a diverse background. I myself am ethnically from India. So that's also an option to me. I do understand some of the languages that are used in India. If you are from another country and you are good at speaking a foreign language, that's an added benefit. So if you're looking for emerging markets, perhaps you come from a Spanish-speaking country and you speak Spanish, but you've been living in the West, and maybe there's a new opportunity going back to, say, El Salvador, which is doing quite well under Bitcoin, to help the finance industry there and earn a good salary and be around your own culture and speak your own language. Definitely consider emerging markets and BRIC countries. The other thing I wanted to mention here in terms of growing areas is challenger banks. You've probably heard recently there is a challenger bank called Revolut. And Revolut, they're focused on being a digital bank, looking at innovation like cryptocurrency and things like that. So that's another good option for you to consider. I'd highly recommend you look into newer banks, Monzo, Tide, Revolut. These all offer great opportunities if you want to grow your skill set and work on a growing bank rather than an established bank. I know a lot of people watching this probably want to think they want to work for, say, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they're kind of established banks, and sometimes they have a particular way of doing things, and it's not necessarily growing or focused on innovation. They might be actually late to the market when it comes to innovation. So if you work for a challenger bank, a smaller growing bank, focused on crypto, focused on perhaps peer-to-peer lending, things like that, once you develop that skill set, then you can, say, work there for a few years, 2024, 2025, 2026. After that, you can make a move to a major bank with that skill set, that unique skill set they're looking for, and get a significant pay rise. And then we come on to our fifth and final point. It's important to dress for the job you want. But yeah, I think it's important to consider if you want to be in a senior role, those type of perception things do matter. even though it might seem unnecessary to a certain extent, like, what specific clothes you're wearing and things like that. But I think if you want to be in a management role, consider getting like a tailored suit, things like that. And these are little things that people do pick up on. And I've noticed that. So sometimes you can have two people working in a same team, doing the same work, same level of effort, same level of output and quality. But those little things about appearances, they do matter, and they will help you when it comes to impressing senior management and being put forward for those top roles. Right, mainstream society, the standards are slipping. Standards in general, the work output, the quality of work, quality of culture, things like that. And you should always look to kind of differentiate yourself from others in the workplace, or maybe outside the workplace too. But in the workplace, try to differentiate yourself. So if you do make the effort to speak quite well, to dress quite well, things like that, it does stand out, and it does stand out particularly when other people are lowering their standards and the way they communicate, the way they dress and things like that. So in this outro, just to recap, I would recommend when you're setting performance goals, they are quite modest, so you can overperform, over-deliver, impress your management and get a significant bonus. And then also internally look for opportunities, whether that's department changes, restructuring, new projects, working with other team members, working with other teams within your department, and getting your name on some of those big changes within your department for the year. And also plan ahead for different scenarios. After you collected your bonus, reach out to a few recruiters. And even if your job is secure, sometimes you never know, you could get a bonus and a few months later be laid off. And then last 2 points are looking for growing areas in your industry. I mentioned crypto, emerging markets, BRICS countries. And I guess lastly, when you're in the work environment, consider appearances, the way you communicate, all those little things that can make the difference between someone who gets promoted to a senior role and someone who doesn't. Thanks for listening. I have 2 videos on your screen right now and a free ebook. You can check that out, and I'll see you in the next video.